What's up guys, this is Miasin and welcome to the OCG Metagame Breakdown number 8 and 9. My voice is completely messed up, so I'm really sorry in advance. But this one is actually relatively big in terms of sample size, but it's not like a huge article because we're getting closer to Worlds, and this has a lot of like regionals, which aren't really regionals, but rather like nationals that qualify the players to like the Asian WCQs that would then qualify you to Worlds. It's really complicated, and I also kind of don't really understand 100% of it, but in other words, this is like the season where we're gonna be seeing who's gonna go to Worlds. So yeah, that's still really relevant. So the stakes are high, and also like this weekend, well, I mean the next one, we're going to have the well, actually no, I think it's this weekend. We're gonna have the WCQ in South America at Bogota. So we're gonna know like the first TCG players that are going to Worlds. Anyways, before we go any further, you already know the drill. As always, smash the like and subscribe button. It really motivates me a lot to keep making videos like these. And also check out my Blue Eyes and Crystron spreadsheet on my website, yacineygo.com. Very first link at the top of the description box below. And shoutouts to my sponsors, Supreme Pro. Check out tsx1.com and use Yacin10 for 10% off. Anyways, let's get right into it. Okay, so this breakdown reports covers 259 top performing decks from 42 tournaments that were held in almost basically every single OCG country during the span of like a week and a half or something like that, whatever. And the new card is Drawbread, which is kind of like an upstart goblin, whatever. It's completely irrelevant. But as you can see, once again, Vanquish Soul K9 is the #1 best deck by a significant margin in 33.6%. So over a third of the representation in top cut. That's actually kind of scary. And then Yummy as second place. It does make sense. It's such a good deck. But it is very interesting to see how Dragon Tail fell off. Like, that deck used to be like the #1 every single time, but it's so easy to prep for Dragon Tail. The deck is so simplistic and linear. It pretty much always does the same thing. And Yummy, I mean, it also kind of is linear, but there's more interesting ways to build this deck, I want to say. Like, there's the Sky Striker cards, there's other engines, and I think Yummy is probably going to be the deck that is going to be a little more explored in the TCG. So I'm a huge fan of it. There's also, like I said, a lot of nice engines like Primite, Fiendsmith, even Snake Eye, Sky Striker, etc. that you can play in Yummy. It's a really cool deck for sure. Speaking of Sky Striker, I think as a deck, this deck is... it just lacks a little something. Obviously, in the OCG, they have Max T, so playing a conservative mid-range deck is always a good option. But in the TCG, we don't have Max T, so obviously you kind of want to play hardcore combo decks if possible, or like a more explosive deck if possible. Dragon Tail is also kind of like a handtrap deck. It's a little similar to like Fire King in the sense where it doesn't always do it doesn't do much, but at the same time it doesn't need to do much in order to start applying pressure. Obviously, Malice is the hardcore combo deck of the format. This deck has a ceiling level that is complete insanity, and Vanquish Soul, the ceiling level is not like super high, but it's actually kind of still high because it can still FTK you with Paradise Smasher, and it can play turn 0 hand traps such as, you know, K9 Izuna, the Vanquish Soul Holy Sue, as well as the other hand traps that you have that are non-engine hand traps. So Vanquish Soul is such in a good position. It doesn't lose to your hand traps, but it can also play hand traps, and it's just really good at dodging a bunch of interruptions and also getting interruptions with engine that can just be used every single turn on both players' turn. Really, really scary deck, and it does make sense why it is the #1 best deck right now. So Lunalight is next, and obviously this is a deck that can just FTK you by summoning double Liger Dancer. If you only summon one, then a lot of decks can out it in engine, so it's not like you're scooping to one single towers that can destroy all of your special summoned monsters. Like I said, there are a lot of outs. Malice can out it. Sky Striker can obviously out it because they can Surge the Kaiju. Yummy, I have no idea how they're outing it, but I'm sure they can. And then, yeah, Dragon Tail, I don't know, maybe, I have no idea actually. But there's also Raziel Gagaga that can out it. I mean, Raziel Mitsurugi. Vanquish Soul can, like, not out it, but they can burn you through it, and they can also, like, protect their monsters every single time. So, yeah, I think Lunalight is a kind of deck where you really, really have to turbo out double Liger Dancer if you want to have a chance to win. Otherwise, you're always playing the worst deck, because it's not like back in the days where, you know, it was spamming rank 4s and link monsters. Now there's nothing to link climb into. You're really just ending on, like, IP, Baguska, and Liger Dance, or double Liger Dance, which, like I said, I think is much better. White Forest is tied with Lunalight, and this deck, obviously, it's always going to be a deck in the OCG and in the TCG, but I think this deck is underexplored. Not a lot of people are playing it because people don't really want to play all the bricks, but I think there are a lot of like cool ways to play White Forest, like the Fiendsmith engine, for example, and then you don't even play with the new cards, you only play with the field spell, just so that you have the best of both worlds. You know, you're playing a lot of starters, you're playing a lot of consistency cards, but you're not playing a lot of bricks. Anyways, K9 Crystron, like I said, check out my spreadsheet. As soon as the K9 cards will be around the corner, I will be updating the already existing Crystron spreadsheet with new K9 Crystron combos. But yeah, this deck is obviously insane, and as you will see at the very end, it is doing much better than just like this position, because it's not like really far off from like these decks. So I guess you can say K9 Crystron is pretty much in the top 5 best decks. Even though like this breakdown report, it doesn't feel like it. It's like 7th best deck, but it doesn't really change anything. I'm really looking forward to seeing if Mitsurugi Orchestra is going to be a good deck in the TCG. And also Gagaga Raziel, another very interesting deck. Okay, now we kind of fall into like the less competitive decks. So Armija, the actual Utopia deck. And then Primate Blue Eyes. It's actually crazy how it's no longer being played at all. Atlantean Mermaid, Azamina. That's not even a deck. Is that like the Vanity's Fiend, like tribute turbo deck? I don't even know, but like Azamina is not really a thing. It just doesn't make any sense. Like, what? It's more of like an engine. Like you're playing Azamina in something, or you're playing something with Azamina, not just pure Azamina. But whatever, it's fine. Feedsmith Centurion, Feedsmith K9 Trickstar. What are people doing? Flame Swordsman, Infernal Bolt. Okay, alright. Gem Knight, Lawn Mowing Cyber Dragon Orchest. Interesting. Lawn Mowing Fiendsmith Paleozoic. What the frick? Horus Gimmick Puppet K9. Pure K9 is this low. That is insane. I actually wouldn't have guessed that. That is crazy. Because Pure K9 was a deck that was still in like the top 4 best decks when Justice Hunters came out. But yeah, apparently it is no longer being played at all. And then K9 Cyber Dragon, I keep seeing, I think, on like my Facebook feed every now and then, it might have been like Ready for Duel or like Respect Yu-Gi-Oh or something that posts like a guy's Twitter post of like a tier list, and there's always K9 Cyber Dragon like at the very top, but it's so inaccurate because nobody plays K9 Cyber Dragon, nobody does well with the deck. It is not a good deck whatsoever. It's not like Cyber Dragon really benefits off of the new K9 cards because they're not machines, so you're not doing jack shit with them. And Crystron is a better deck at playing level 5s, so I don't really know what you're doing with Cyber Dragon K9, but if you want to play a fun deck, then go for it, I guess, but it's not good. It's just fun. Again, I'm saying this and it really breaks my heart because Cyber Dragon best deck. Of course, you already know it. Anyways, Melodious Memento. Really weird and disappointing seeing Memento this low. I mean, it's such a good deck. Honestly, it should be higher than Branded. It should be like close to these decks at the very least, because it really is that good. But Monarch, Raziel, Heraldic Beast, sorry, no, not Raziel, Gagaga, Heraldic Beast, and then Rescue Ace, Runic, Salamangreat, Skystriker, Tenpai Dragon, Traptrix, and Voices Voice. Okay, a lot of like cool, cute, fun little decks, but nobody really plays them all too much, even in the TCG. I mean, I guess Voices Voice got a top at Oasis Keto. Shoutouts to Fernando if you're watching this. A really nice deck. I mean, if you play with the Raziel engine, obviously you can do more things. Anyways, Vanquish Soul. Okay, so one interesting thing that people are doing right now, it's not even like against Vanquish Soul, it's rather Vanquish Soul themselves, they can do this because the way you deck build Vanquish Soul is different from how you deck build other decks. So for example, the attribute does matter. So you can't play cards like Veiler, Imperm, and stuff like that just because you want to. You gotta start respecting more the Dark, Fire, and Earth hand traps. And the Earth hand traps are the Sea monsters. In the OCG, obviously, there's Max Sea. So that's 2 additional good Earth hand traps. But then there's also Molchemy Foils that you most likely want to play, but it has anti-synergy in the deck. And then even though Imperm is a great Yu-Gi-Oh card, you're not trying to play in the deck because it doesn't really make any sense for you. It doesn't help you out. So in other words, people are kind of looking into potential options, and there are 2 great options that people are now considering. And these options are Retelling Sea as well as Contact Sea. Contact Sea is a great card against Yummy because they have to use the Contact Sea with another monster they control if they want to like Synchro Xyz Fusion or like a Link summon. And it's kind of weird if you summon it when they summon their 3 beast monsters off of Obedience School, because if they don't play something like Cross Sheep, which is a beast Link monster that has generic materials, they won't be able to do anything with that Retelling Sea, but sorry, with that like through the Contact Sea. It might actually just be a turn skip, so depending on people's extra deck, Contact Sea can just be like the best hand trap of the format, randomly out the middle of nowhere. Like, for example, look at this. There's literally no way for anyone to out Contact Sea right now. You drop the Contact Sea, what are they doing? Like, they can't really... hold on, can they actually make Azalea? I do have to double check, but I think... yeah, it has to be 2 light and or dark monsters, so they can't make this, but they can make Camellia. And Camellia is actually one of the outs, but if you activate Obedience School, then you can't. And Cross Sheep is not a card that helps you out in the deck, so it's not like you really would want to think about playing Cross Sheep. It's like you're basically like hand looping your extra deck by a card. It makes no sense, but you understand what I'm trying to say. If you want to be Contact C in Yummy, you have to basically have Camellia so that you can obviously pop off when you have the Sky Striker engine or not. Basically, you're punishing your opponent for like hitting you with Contact C, like when you normal summon in like a Yummy monster. Or like you can make an SP pass using like the Yummy and like the Contact C, but then you don't play anymore. And also, this is not really a play that people are doing. So yeah, at the current moment, Contact C is just a card that really catches everyone off guard. And it's really annoying. And also it's summoned on your opponent's field, which is even worse because it means that the Thrust will not be able to like search a card that can be used right away. So it's quite annoying. Yeah, Contact C is really scary. And obviously, like I said, it's an Earth monster and it's searchable off of Retelling C. Not really that it matters because I don't really think you're using Retelling C against this deck, even though it's not necessarily terrible. Like you can chain Retelling C to Obedience Cooled and Hornet Drones. But I think that's about it, right? And the Quick Play spell, potentially, I think. Depends. I think it has bullet points, so like you choose an activation, but it also could just be on resolution. I honestly completely forgot. I know it's like a Monster Reborn, a Book of Moon, whatever. Forgot the exact effects, but yeah, apart from that, I don't really think there's anything interesting and noteworthy here. The Vanquish Soul deck is basically just stabilizing itself as the kind of deck that is just playing like, what, 15 whatever hand shafts, like 3 Holy Stew, 3 Zuna, and then 3 Fua, 3 Ash, so that's 12, and then 2 Maxi and a Shifter, so that's 15, and then 1 Phantasme, so 16 hand shafts. That is actually quite scary. I mean, that's turn 0, by the way, so obviously if you go first, then you can have even more interruptions very, very easily, and it's the kind of deck that just doesn't lose to like any one thing in particular. It doesn't lose to like any floodgate that I can think of. Like Baguska doesn't beat this deck, and then, you know, Shifter doesn't beat this deck. Obviously, it plays Shifter. Like Lancia doesn't beat this deck. Like Droll doesn't beat this deck. Dimensional Bearer doesn't beat this deck, and so on and so forth. Like I can't really think of like one card where if you draw it against Vanquish Soul, the game is over. It's not really the case. So with this deck in the right hands, it can grind through absolutely everything. And obviously, just because 16 hand shafts wasn't enough, we are citing an extra 12 hand shafts, which is complete insanity. This is ridiculous. I can't believe this is the direction that Yu-Gi-Oh! Is going into, but yeah, no, it's absolute crazy. It's just ridiculous. And yeah, we've got a lot of the number monsters to summon off of like the CXC's Nash Knight, which I'm blind that I can't see. There you go. That's this one. So yeah, you can go into the Umbral Horror Masquerade using the regular Masquerade when Nash Knight attaches it to it. And then you can halve your opponent's life points, negate a monster effect, and rip a random card from your opponent's hand. There is no way you lose if you resolve this. And also, the new Vanquish Soul Xyz monster is so ass that is not even being played. This is insane. When a new card... Look at this. It's a rank 4 monster that can technically be made using like any Vanquish Soul monster that battled this turn. It's kind of like a Zeus. And then it doesn't really do much of anything, really. It's just like if it has an Earth monster underneath, you can detach a material to destroy a card your opponent controls without targeting, but then the Dark and Fire attributes, they're not good. They're very bad. So yeah, that's kind of like all it does. It's not really worth it other than like transforming any of your monster into a potential Zeus. Really, that's all it really does. And even then, it's actually like really hard to like turn on. Like your Vanquish Soul monster has to like battle with an opponent's Xyz monster in defense or like an attack, but then you have to like win the battle. Just... It's so obscure. It's just so weird. So I don't know. I don't really think the new Vanquish Soul Xyz monster will see that much play in the OCG and the TCG because it's not in the OCG clearly, as you can see. It's a rank 4 monster, and yeah, it's not here whatsoever. And Paralyze Smasher is always annoying the crap out of people. Anyways, Yummy. What is new with Yummy? I mean, they're now playing the White Force Synchro monster Silvera, which is a Book of Eclipse, pretty much, but only for the opponent when it is synchro summoned. Very scary card. Actually, just special summon, I believe. I forgot, but no, it is definitely special summon because it also triggers when you summon it off of the Diabel level 8 synchro. This card is really annoying, and you can synchro into it on the opponent's turn using, I think it's like one of the, well, 2 synchros with a Link 1 and like another Yummy monster, I think. I forgot, actually. But yeah, whatever. It's explained here. You can make it on the opponent's main phase or battle phase. So yeah, Yummy Snatchy, and then revive back, or like end Cup C in order to make Yummy Way, which is the synchro, and then Yummy Way to revive back 2 monsters. There you go. So now you have like 4, I mean, you have a level 2 monster on the field and then 2 level 1s, and then your opponent activates a card effect, so you chain Lollipopo to return itself to the extra deck to revive back 2 monsters, and then you got Cup C Yummy to draw a card, and then Yummy Snatchy And yeah, to make the Star Ham, I kind of forgot what this card was. The Star Ham. Hold on a second. It's a Light Beast level 3 monster. There you go. So that's what it does. Yeah, it's kind of like a Martial Metal Marcher. So yeah, if this card is Synchro Summon, you can discard a card, special summon one monster from your grave that was used for this card's Synchro Summon. And if you do, it is treated as a tuner. So that's how you can easily get access to tuner monsters in this deck. And if this card is in your grave, you can discard 2 cards, special summon this card, but banish him, leaves the field. That's kind of irrelevant. But then what is relevant is the fact that you can use Yummy Snatchy and Cupsy plus Star Ham and Cupsy Yummy to make Silvera. So Yummy Snatchy, I think that's the Link one. And then Cupsy Yummy, no, hold on a second. I don't think it is. Whatever, it's fine. With Cupsy Yummy, which is definitely a level 1 monster, Star Ham, which is a level 3, and then you also got Cupsy and yeah, Silvera, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so cool. That does make a lot of sense. That's how you can get a level 6 Synchro monster. And then you just Book of Eclipse the crap out of your opponent, so that's awesome. Apart from that, I mean, yeah, nothing really super interesting about Yummy. It's just like, whatever. It's always like the same kind of deck. I mean, it's really nice, but it's not, you know, it's not like super spicy or anything. You're gonna get accustomed to like seeing similar deck list for the next couple of months, actually. At least in the OCG and the TCG, I don't know, but Psalms of the Kings, or like Songs of the Dominators, has been experimented with a little bit, but I guess people are now back to not playing it anymore. So that was like one of the interesting tech cards, and then obviously P-Race Map, because all of your monsters are level 1, 0 attack, 0 defense monsters, and they're all normal summons. So that's really cool. Apart from that, yeah, like I said, China mainland, the regionals, whatever. Yummy, Dragon Tail, Malice, and then K9 Crystron, so always really doing super well. And then Primite Blue Eyes in the middle of nowhere, which is really interesting. And then this one is Top Cut, I think. Okay, so now we've got Vanquish Soul, 45, holy crap, 45%! And then Yummy, Malice, Dragon Tail, Sky Striker, K9 Crystron, Lunalight, and then others. I mean, that's insane. Wow, not a lot of others in here either. That is nuts. Okay, hold on. Before Duelist Advance and then after Duelist Advance. Okay, so that was the difference. Yeah, so that was just like Justice Hunters. But then again, it's not relevant for us in the TCG because we're getting Duelist Advance before we're getting Justice Hunters. So there's really just no reason to even like analyze any of this. But if you just want to like see how Duelist Advance really changed everything up, the only real difference is that Vanquish Soul is now dominating like crazy. Look. Obviously, the deck wasn't even out yet before Duelist Advance, and now it's like by far the best deck. Same thing with the Asia WCQ with the regionals. Before Duelist Advance, it was just Malice, Dragon Tail, Yummy, and other decks. And now it's like Vanquish Soul, Yummy, Dragon Tail, Malice. Like Malice just got pushed down like crazy. And then obviously the other decks. So yeah, in conclusion, Vanquish Soul is the nuts. It is by far the best deck for sure. And also, this guy right here got, I think he won like the Philippines Nationals or something, which had like 239 players with K9 Crystron. So yeah, shoutouts to Martin Owen Gonzalez. What a goat, man. Obviously, you're a goat if you play Crystron, but this is absolutely beautiful to look at. Very interesting how people are still playing chaotic elements in the deck. It's not like Horaziel is like super popular, so it's not like you can really capitalize off of the graveyard effects. And I will never understand why people only play 2 Izuna, because this is another hand trap, and you're not playing a huge amount of hand traps either. So, you know, 3 Ash, 2 Maxi, 2 Trolls, and then 2 Izuna. It's not enough. Honestly, I would try to aim like 12, 14-ish hand traps in 40, and then maybe play some droplets, maybe 2 droplets. No talent, no crossout, maybe no caught by, I don't know. So it really does depend. And I would try my best to not play X-First Liberation and only play 1 case of K9. That's the way I'm just imagining to play the deck myself right now, but things can always change at any moment. Anyways, that's pretty much it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe and let me know how you feel about the OCG format in the comment section below. I'll see you guys very soon. Peace.